Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever been driving along and just kind of felt like the street itself was trying to tell you something? Well, in Norway, it absolutely is. Today, we're going to translate this secret visual language painted on Norwegian roads into your ultimate survival guide. We'll decode the whole shebang so you can drive with total confidence, safety, and a real understanding of the rules written literally right beneath your tires. Now, here's a fundamental and honestly kind of surprising rule. In Norway, paint on the road, it isn't just some polite suggestion. No way. It commands the exact same legal authority as a heavy metal stop sign posted on a pole. The entire Norwegian traffic system relies on these painted guides to keep things predictable. Without them, intersections would basically devolve into absolute chaos, with people making super dangerous last-minute lane changes. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at directional arrows, then symbols and reserved lanes, text markings, lane positioning, and finally, legal consequences and winter safety. All right, let's jump right into part one, directional arrows. So, the absolutely crucial point here is mastering this concept called Feltvalg, which basically means lane selection. You really have to spot these painted arrows and pick your lane early based on your destination. And listen, the rule here is, well, it's completely unforgiving. If you suddenly realize you're in the wrong lane, but it's too late, you are legally obligated to just follow that arrow anyway. Yep, you just got to take the detour and find a safe spot to turn around later. Because actually, scratch that, doing sudden maneuvers to fix a bad lane choice, that's literally one of the leading causes of accidents in intersections. Now, single-headed arrows demand strict, total commitment. They're used in heavy traffic where dedicated lanes are an absolute must. Once those broken lines separating the lanes turn into solid lines, or what Norwegians call sprelinger, changing lanes becomes a major traffic violation. Combined arrows, on the other hand, are kind of like multi-tools at smaller intersections. Since they let you go in multiple directions, your actual physical road placement within that lane becomes super vital to communicate your next move. Moving right along to Section 2, Symbols and Reserved Lanes. Okay, so there are three main symbols you need to recognize instantly. First up, the bicycle. These lanes are strictly reserved for cyclists and light electric vehicles like e-scooters. You can never, ever drive in a bike lane, and if you have to cross one to make a turn, you must always yield to the bikes. Second is the pedestrian symbol. Now, even though the zebra stripes are the main thing to look for, this symbol warns you to be extra vigilant. Drivers have a strict duty to stop for pedestrians stepping into a crosswalk. And finally, the handicap symbol. Unless you actually hold a valid maneuverability permit, pausing in a handicap spot, even for just a quick second to drop a friend off, will hit you with severe fines, and your car is definitely getting towed. Let's slide into Section 3, text markings. Because sometimes, symbols just aren't quite enough, so the road literally has to yell at you in all caps. Take bus and taxi lanes, for example. Those are public transport only. If you're making a right turn, you have to avoid those lanes until the absolute last possible moment, entering only where the broken lines tell you to. Then there's stop. When you see this painted right before a solid white line, your wheels must completely freeze. I'm serious, a rolling stop is a huge offense and could actually cost you your license if you're still in your trial period. And finally, we have those menacing shark's teeth, or Winkelinger. These little white triangles pointing right at your car, they mean you have a strict duty to yield to intersecting traffic. Okay, part 4, lane positioning. You see, proper lane positioning isn't just about obeying the arrows. It's basically the body language of your car. It's how you communicate your intent to every other driver out there. When you're turning left, you really want to hug that center line. Get as close as you can without actually crossing it. It's a brilliant little maneuver because it lets traffic just flow right around your right side if there's enough room. But for a right turn, you got to squeeze the right edge of the lane. This physically blocks cyclists from sneaking up in your inside blind spot. And whatever you do, please never swing out to the left before making a right turn. It totally confuses the drivers behind you and is a surefire recipe for a collision. Now, roundabouts are where this physical language truly saves the day. The logic is simple, but it is 100% mandatory. Step 1, read the entry arrows early. Step 2, pick the right lane for going right or straight, or the left lane for going straight or left, exactly like the arrows tell you. And step 3, always flash your right indicator when taking your exit. Oh, and as a quick aside, it's actually considered super helpful to indicate left while you're inside the roundabout if you're taking the third exit. It just gives everyone a nice heads up. Which brings us to our final section, part 5, legal consequences and winter safety. Traffic engineers really lean on these markings for one main reason: to minimize choice paralysis. Think about it. When every driver follows the arrows, the movement of thousands of heavy metal machines becomes completely predictable. But if you ignore a turn-only lane and just try to blast straight through, you instantly create what engineers call a conflict point, which is basically where two cars suddenly expect to occupy the exact same space at the exact same time. Not good. And because the Norwegian Public Roads Administration and the police view these painted lines as absolutely critical safety infrastructure, there is zero tolerance. If you ignore a turn-only lane and cause a crash, you are strictly liable. No excuses, no, but I didn't know. You'll be slapped with a really expensive fine and bear the absolute fault for the collision. But here is the ultimate Norwegian plot twist. How on earth are you supposed to read the language of the asphalt during a massive winter blizzard? You know, when the road is completely buried under a thick sheet of snow and ice? Well, when the paint completely vanishes under the snow, you kinda have to fall back on the basics. You rely on vertical signs and the general rules of the road. You know, stay to the right, use the basic right-hand yield rule, and just position your car logically based on how wide the street actually is. But don't get too comfortable ignoring the asphalt rules. The very second that black asphalt peeks back through the melting snow, those painted markings take absolute precedence once again. Like magic, the rules are back in play. So there we have it. We've decoded the arrows, the symbols, the giant text, and the strict legal rules holding it all together. The next time you get behind the wheel, I want you to ask yourself, are you just staring blankly at the street in front of you? Or are you actually reading the crucial life-saving language painted right there on the asphalt? Thanks for joining this explainer, and hey, drive safe out there.